Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you could reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So, if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part podcast, you have Warren Buffett sold half of his Apple stock after being a stalwart of the brand for years and making a pretty penny, of course. Now, this is brought to us thanks to CNN, which, interestingly enough, still has, I was about to say one or two good writers. Let's be honest, probably just one, but only partially kidding. Pulling up the article right now, it's coming from Robert Eich, who's right over there. They say, quote, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway cut its stake in Apple by nearly 50%. Which again, I mean, talk about hindsight's always, this is not financial advice. You know, hindsight's always 2020 when it comes to stock or any investments. Yeah, I wish I bought an Apple stock years ago because obviously they've been growing ever since, and I believe they just passed the $3 trillion mark a couple months ago under the leadership of Tim Cook. Now, the article says, quote, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway slashed its stake in tech giant Apple by nearly 50%. According to a report released earlier this week, Berkshire Hathaway disclosed its holdings in Apple were valued at $84.2 billion at the end of the quarter, dropping from 750 million shares down to 400 million shares, which that's quite a bit of shares. They say the sharp sell-off is notable for Buffett, who is known for holding onto stocks for long periods of time. Berkshire Hathaway had previously downsized its stake in Apple, which had a market cap of over $3.3 trillion. In the final 3 months of 2023, Berkshire had sold off 10 million shares of Apple stock, representative of 1% of holdings in the company. In the first quarter of 2024, Berkshire cut its stake in Apple by 13%. They say that meanwhile, an Omaha, Nebraska-based conglomerate reported a record cash pile of nearly $277 billion in the second quarter. And then they also reported $189 billion in cash and equivalents in the first quarter. Looks like Berkshire Hathaway sold off $75.5 billion in stock in the second quarter, along with the Apple. Berkshire also cut the second largest position in Bank of America down to $41.1 billion. The earnings report showed that approximately 72% of Apple's aggregate fair value was congregated into 5 companies, including American Express coming in at $35.1 billion, Apple at $84.2 billion, Bank of America at $41.1 billion, Coca-Cola at $25.5 billion, and Chevron at $18.6 billion. Which investors, I was going to say, if you're an investor of Chevron, I'm pretty sure you're going to be pretty happy them moving their headquarters from California to the great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas, which is much more infinitely attractive and better for businesses and has lower tax rates. And yeah, can't but wonder how much money Chevron going to save in taxes alone just moving their corporate headquarters down to Houston. Probably a fair bit. Now, this is very interesting. Historically speaking, Apple's been one of the most profitable, best investments most people have ever made in their life. Now, that being said, my 3 cents used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation got me the 3 cents. I mean, when it comes to Apple, all stocks crashing this week. Mostly, it's not great for investors or pretty much anyone who has a 401k. Well, when it comes to Apple, my 3 cents, again, used to be 2 cents, but a big thing as uncertainty with Apple is competition. I mean, of course, we've had Samsung for years. I'm one of the few folks I know still rocking the good old S10. I'll upgrade eventually, maybe. But one of the biggest things is Huawei, which again is right now still most political parties, Republicans and Democrats, most of them aren't supportive of they continue to ban and embargo on Huawei products, which are pretty darn good, perhaps because they save a lot of money not doing their own research and development, just ripping off other companies for the most part. But nevertheless, that is a big competitor. You also have DJI, which I suspect they're going to get into telecom equipment like smartphones, as they've been growing more and more. A lot of my friends know DJI for using camera gimbals, microphones, more of those consumable products, but I still think, call me crazy, maybe they'll enter into the Mac market as well. There's going to be more competition with Apple, and I think their costs are going to go up because they're moving production more and more to India, which I think costs a little bit more than China. Again, Foxconn is still their main subcontractor to assemble the phones, but yeah, I think there's also just, of course, economic and political uncertainty. But yeah, we also have cash being worth less every day. What is Warren Buffett really going to do in the future? What does he think is a more stable bet than Apple? Let me know in the comments. And again, not investment advice, but where would you put your money if you're Warren Buffett? You're looking for another good long-term investment. Again, no, again, it stinks because the United States is so litigious. I have to keep saying this, but not financial advice. Just let me know in the comments, because as always, it'll be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.